everybody, it's Daryn Wood, and welcome back to another episode of The Gift of Gab. I am joined here by my lovely and wonderful best friend, Allie Haugen. Say hi, say
Hey,
hello.
hi guys.
And today we are going to talk about our favorite ways to build a character. This is an advice podcast. This is an advice
Where we give you the tips and tricks of D&D.
to be successful. 10 ways to be successful before 6 a.m. Just kidding. But yeah, no, I just want to talk about like favorite ways to build a character, because I feel like that's also something I get asked a lot by just like literally fellow players who need help. Because like, backtrack, we don't know what I'm trying to say is like my favorite way to build a character usually is like kind of like thought experiment, like thought, what am I trying to say? Thought think tank. Hey guys, we got there. Having a think tank where everyone kind of like talks it out. And I feel like in those situations, or just like someone's new to D&D, people always ask kind of like what your go-to way is to build a character. So I think that's funny, because I feel like everyone's different, and there's always like these like fun little tips and tricks to get there. Like I know one of my favorite ones that I've heard, it's not mine, it's Emily Axford, but she talked about how she likes to build characters around like cool moments. So she'll imagine like she'll take like spells or class features or whatever and be like, oh, you would be so sick if like using this class feature you did like X, Y, and Z, and then build the character kind of around that, like hoping to get to that moment. Sorry, this is going to be a jarring cut because someone dropped something really loud while we were recording.
So we lost track of
and it
what we were
distracted
talking
me,
about.
and I totally lost my train of thought. So if you're like, why did it jump into this totally different scene? That's why, because I'm scared. I'm scared. What are we talking about? The way that Emily Axford builds
Emily
a character,
Axford.
how she builds it around moments or whatever. So I like, that's the kind of like tips I'm talking about. I think one that I myself use is also not mine. Hey, are any of these ideas mine? I don't know.
We're just borrowing from friends.
You know what? I'm not going to take credit. I'll give credit where credit's due. But, you know, if someone else has a good idea, damn, this is actually from my friend Devin Chulik, owner of Total Party Chill and StartPlayingGames.com. Check it out. Plug, shout out. But he gave me the idea of using sitcom tropes, which I like. I think is a super, super easy way. That's the one. Actually, that's the one I do when I'm being like the most lazy, because it's just like character archetypes. Like just to make it super simple, it's like, think of the Breakfast Club. You have the jock, the princess, the nerd, the whatever they're called. All the superlatives or whatever. And then so you can do that, but use like sitcom ones. So it's like the straight man, the neurotic guy, you know, the person who's always upset. Like you can do the romantic, like different sitcom and TV tropes, and then use that as like a very, very simple way of like, what is this person like?
I love that.
And then it's like, then you can go from there. So it's like, oh, I'm going to be the straight man. You know, so I'm going to be the person who is just like, whatever, like everyone else in the party's being crazy. I'm going to be like the steady guy. So maybe I'm going to build, you know, a grizzled, you know, war vet guy, super serious. I'm a fighter, or I'm do this, you know.
I'm a man's man. I have big muscles. And
Or I'm like, I'm a
fight.
straight man and I'm a cleric, and I'm just like really just goody, just don't want everything to be, it's like, so it helps you kind of like know what the person's like and then build a character that way. I think that's the one I use the most. I think
I would say the one that I used the most is I borrowed it from my brother.
none of these ideas are ours.
Not original.
We're smart.
He taught me that it's really useful to build a character based around like a character flaw. So a personality flaw, character flaw, pick something that is glaringly obvious and build your character around that. I mean, his favorite, or my favorite of his, is probably the one that is not a paladin, but pretends to be a paladin. And I would say character flaw-wise, like deceitful, kind of a liar that needs to be the attention seeker.
Like a charlatan,
Exactly.
a con man.
Yes.
Oh my God, actually,
and okay, let me clarify, because I am using attention seeker as a character flaw that you can build your character around. But I want to be very clear that I don't mean that it is okay to be main character syndrome, spotlight hogger at the table all the time. there is a balance.
Yeah, but I think the character flaw, yeah, I don't know if Bradley would mind us saying, but like one of the things that he did in terms of like using this character flaw is like kind of using like a charlatan con man as the archetype.
Yes.
And then use that to like, and then mechanically build, because he's just like so good at like mechanics and all that kind of stuff, a paladin who like insists that he's like,
Bard warlock.
Yeah, a paladin, heavy on the quotations, that is very obviously not a paladin, but is built closely enough that he can do paladin-like things. So he does this bard warlock character that is very obviously not a paladin, but just insists that he's a paladin. Great.
Yes, great.
Hilarious. Works every time. Every time he pulls that character out, I'm just like...
So fun, so
funny.
fun,
so good. And also like...
collaborative.
Yeah, and then like it's like a good starting point for like actually creatively thinking about the mechanics.
It causes reasons for role play, especially when you have a true healer in the party. Then your paladin has a lot more moments to engage and interact. And
And by the way, guys, if you've watched earlier episodes, which I encourage you to watch, this is an example of a good bit, because it's like a bit that comes up in like actual utility instead of like forcing a bit. Like, yes, that one that you talked about with the healing one is the funniest part when it comes up, where it's like, oh, I'm hurt, paladin, and he's like, oh yeah, no, for sure, I used my lay hands already today. It's crazy. Sorry. And you're like, every time you've used it's the morning. We haven't done anything yet. And he's like,
ooh, I would if I could.
Or
if
like,
somebody else casts a heal and then he runs over and demonstrates that it was I that saved the day.
Or like uses like healing word, but it's like very obviously another spell. It's great. All good, all fun, super good times. You know, I think the one that I feel like you use the most actually is just the good old multi-class.
Yeah.
Like starting at a multi-class and like working backwards
from
there.
I really like, some people don't like this, but, or some people don't like that I do this maybe, but I like building my character based off of what other people are playing. And not that I'm copying them, just truly that I am trying to fill in the gaps. That I want to know what everybody else at the table is thinking of playing, and then, you know, even if you throw some personality my way and let me know kind of what vibe you're bringing, then I can more easily decide what type of personality and
But what if
class
everyone
and
at the
character.
table doesn't know what they're going to be? What if
Then
you're playing
it makes my job hard. It makes it hard, and then I have to make my own decisions, and I hate that.
The real tip is like, what can you do to be lazy?
Yeah. Can other people decide first?
That's actually, I think, if you were to poll everyone, I think that would be everyone's response. If it, like, let's be so fucking for real, like that's what everyone wants.
100%.
Everyone wants to be like, oh, you're gonna be a fighter, a cleric, a bard, and a wizard. Well, I guess I'll be like, it's like everyone gets to just like pick the thing that nobody else has done. Like,
yeah, what do we need here?
Yeah.
I'll be that.
Oh, sure, I'll do that. Like, I mean, I definitely try to do that as much as
love that.
can.
You know, I was thinking another good way to build a character would be both with the previous way and with the new 2024 version of D&D is if you kind of pick your background first. If you pick a background.
And go back from there.
Because they are pretty good descriptions of generally what type of person your character is going to be. So if you draw inspiration off of that, then you can come up with more personality based on.
I wonder if I'm really just like really not letting my laziness be as happy as it could be, because usually I used to kind of get not annoyed by backgrounds, but I just felt like I just ignored them for the most part.
Well,
like,
it's hard. It's hard if you build a character first based off of like, you know, a TV trope and you have a very specific character created with a specific personality and then none of the backgrounds align. Then you're like, okay,
you're
well,
like charlatan, faction agent. I don't like, but I guess
like I'm playing a rogue, but do I have to be a criminal?
Yeah.
Like, do I have to be a criminal?
Yeah, exactly. So, but I guess like it's almost like they thought this through.
Yeah.
That's probably why the backgrounds are like an easier starting point, like with the origin feats and stuff. It kind of gives you like a better base point, so you don't have to think as hard.
Yeah, and in the Dungeon Master's Guide book, they also give you the option to custom create a background. So you have a little bit more creativity with that to make something that aligns with the character that you created. In case you don't start with a background for inspiration.
Another tip is putting a little piece of yourself in the actual character you want to play. And this is mostly just like don't not swimming against the tide or like cutting against the grain. It's like kind of doing like what's easiest for you. So like for
That's a good one for new players.
Yes.
People that are new to playing and a little bit nervous about
and
creating a personality to
or
roleplay.
like doing role play with people you don't know that well.
Yeah.
Because it's like you may go to a table and like they are not going to role play at all. That's not how they get down. They're not going to want to like sandbox and have fun. And so it's like harder for you to be like, well, a lot of my character was based on this like role play like personality types. Like how do I work that in? And then you're getting like obsessed about trying to work it in when it's just kind of like you can just be yourself to an extent, which like sounds like a cop out, but it's I'll explain how different ways I've used it that have been actually I think really useful. There's two characters I'm actually thinking of. One of them is there's two aspects of myself, like I said, layered, varied, complex. Can't put me in a box, but I did for one of the characters I was playing. So because I'm like super chill and fun and just like really just like
so chill,
so
very,
chill and
very
so chill and so easygoing. I like to follow the plot. Sorry, I like rules. I'm a little bit of a Boy Scout. I like to stay on track. I like to follow the rules and I like to go forward. Like everyone, I know it's cool to be like a chaos goblin or whatever. Like I'm just a free spirit and that's really fun and stuff. I'm going to be honest with myself. That's not me. That's not who I am. Like, I can pretend to be that for a specific character, but in my heart of hearts, I'm a Boy Scout.
I relate to that. I can never choose the mean dialogue, even in, like, role-play video games. I cannot be mean to a random NPC.
Who are these fucking monsters that are, like, going, like, who are playing it? Because, like, there's consequences. Okay, first of all, there's consequences to not me becoming a Boy Scout in the moment. But I'm like, there are consequences. So it's like, in this game, I choose a bad dialogue, then that person's mad at me, and then I don't get to do the quest with that person. Like, it's just... there are rules. So yes, I don't like picking the mean dialogue. I like sticking to the rules. I like doing the thing you're supposed to do like a really cool person, like a really cool chill person. So I decided to make a character. Oh wait, before I say that, other side tangent. The other thing that I like that is another aspect of my personality is flirtation. All right? Whatever.
You gotta flirt.
Okay. And I'm not talking, or maybe I am, who knows, but like people have a certain flirtatiousness to their personalities. I feel like you have it too. I feel like when we're talking, like when we're going back and forth, it kind of looks like we're flirting. And because you kind of are. It's just like flirting doesn't necessarily mean like you're trying to fuck that person.
Yeah.
Or like
it's the silliness. It's the fun.
Yeah. It's like rapport.
It's the gift of gab.
It is.
See what I
you guys, she said the movie title in the movie. But it's like, it's like your ability to just kind of like establish a rapport and kind of like doing that by playing off someone's like what they're giving back to you. So there's
vibe
like,
matching for sure.
Yeah, and so it's like you're a bartender. I also worked in hospitality, and like we've both done those like service jobs and have done them for a very long time. So it's like an aspect of our personality that we're very kind of like open and like, blah, 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 blah. And so when we were thinking of, I've said this a million times, but when we were thinking of like what our strengths were, me and my friends were jokingly that I came to that I'm like a whorish Boy Scout because I like to follow the rules, but I will flirt with you. What's up? Let's go. And so I created a character that I basically made Charlotte from Sex and the City, which I'm like, she's like a hopeless romantic and she's like obsessed with love, but she's also like really neurotic and she like wants things to be right and she wants things to be the right way and she will kind of be like a little judgmental and she'll be like crazy. Like she's like a neurotic person. And I'm like, so I can use that character as a plot device, like as a way to move the plot along, but as that character.
Yeah, and it's probably super easy to get into because you can already find relatability to this pretend character that you made up. You already see aspects of it that you identify with.
Yeah, so like I'm already the kind of person at a table who's going to be like, oh guys, maybe we should like get back to like what we were doing, but instead of just being like, hey guys, maybe we should get back to their doing, I'm like, oh, I'm going to create this neurotic character that's like, oh guys, I think like we're getting off track and like maybe we should like and so it's like doing what I already wanted to do but building a character that would make that an aspect of their personality.
Yeah, I think that's such a great tool, especially for beginners or even longtime players, is a really easy way to have the opportunity to stay in character more often is create a character that you can identify with in that way.
And you know what? Like, and it just so I can't help it. Like, I really like, I don't know why, but it happens a lot. I don't know what this says about me, but I do end up forging relationships in a lot of the D&D campaigns that I end up like I always end up dating someone or hooking up with someone.
Got a romance.
And, I'm not being creepy. Okay. There's a lot of consent. It's not with people who aren't down and stuff, but like somehow, no matter how I spin it, my character always engages in some sort of romance. I actually can't help it. But I love romance. I'm like, I want to okay, D&D is supposed a bit about about playing make-believe and making what you want to come to life. And I want a little romance.
There you go.
I want a little kiss.
Little smooches at the table. Make-believe kisses.
What characters are like you? What am I trying to say?
I definitely identified a lot with, I don't know if I should actually say that so loud and proud, but I saw just a little bit of myself in my very first character that I made for our first ongoing campaign.
You have to explain like what kind of character.
I will. So I was playing a rogue, and stereotypical rogue is a little bit of a shithead, a little mischievous, a little bit of an alcoholic, and so I could definitely relate to certain aspects. Is trying to emulate the life of the party, or get up to mischief, and I wouldn't say that's wholeheartedly my character in real life, but
I don't know about that, guys. I would say that she 100%.
I could see bits and pieces of that, and maybe I emphasized it in.
Well, it's also like I think that's actually kind of interesting and similar because it's like I think it doesn't have to be that mysterious. Like it can just be your job. So one of my jobs, I worked in bottle service for a really long time, and part of that is kind of like sales, finessing, sweet talking, like that, making sure people are having a good time and like believing that they're having a good time. You know what I mean? They're spending a lot of money. They want it to be a good experience. And so I created a bard who was just, or was this, no, wait, was that character? Maybe I've done it twice. Hey guys, it's also fine to reuse things. It's also fine. If it works, it works. But like a little finesser. Like I think I made one
sweet talker.
Yeah, I made one rogue an actual like a concubine kind of.
Okay.
And so she used like her access to like high profile people through like sex work and stuff to like kill them.
Okay.
That was one character.
Love that.
And then the other one was like a right hand man of like a crime boss that was like the sweet talker. There was like and then me and my friend did like the muscle and the like and the talker, the schmoozer and the muscle, and it was like a really good combo. But I was just literally like, what's something that I know how to do? And I like literally was like, what have my jobs been? And then I just picked something that was my job. So it's just like, it's like when you're a bartender, you kind of same thing. It's like life of the party, keep things going, keep things energy wise. So it's like it can be like actually that simple.
It's really easy to, I'm a bit of a yapper in general. So it's really easy to play a character that maybe is the face of the party. Charisma-based characters are easy for me because I don't mind talking to the NPCs, or I don't mind making a little bit more of the decisions in the party. I also know how to sit back and let other people take those roles because I think it is fun to play a more agreeable character. Perhaps I'm playing a wizard in another game of ours where she's just super agreeable. I even made her specifically to be a very agreeable.
Like exact opposite of that rogue.
Precisely. That I was like, let's just make the good little girl that goes along with whatever everybody else wants to do and needs a lot of assistance from the stronger, bigger people at the table.
That's also like a good like thing to do in terms of like building a character based on your table in your party because like sometimes sorry, I just hit the mic testing. So like when I made like I have actually made, I'm like saying it like it's like a shock because it kind of is. I'm like, I've made quiet characters. I've made so mindful, so demure.
No way.
I know, I've made quiet characters, and then I've been played at a table with a bunch of quiet people, and then like things just like weren't happening, and people like didn't want to speak up, and then I was like kind of like in real time, so like that is something that I'll do. I'll like adjust my character as I kind of like figure out at the table. So it's like you can build a character all you want, but never be married to like who they actually are, because it's like,
don't be afraid to adapt.
yeah, like your party will tell you basically like who you're gonna be, and it's like,
Yeah,
it's like,
especially if you're playing with strangers. So for the new
Yeah,
people
yeah,
that
yeah.
are joining those drop-in games, you know, maybe you have a character in mind and a specific personality that you built that character around. But exactly, if there's other people that are trying to be the face at the table, maybe let them be the face. Maybe
Yeah.
play something else. You're all there to have a good time. And if you're the one catching on to that,
yeah,
it may fall on you to maybe take a back seat, let other people shine where they want to, or like you said, vice versa. If other people are being more quiet, and even though maybe you wanted to do that and take a back seat, maybe it's time to step up.
yeah, because like I've even played with like literal like friends that I thought would be more like proactive or more like the face of the party or more action forward or whatever. These people have damned themselves or whatever, so like I thought they would be louder, and like they just ended up wanting to play like they ended up playing very reserved. They didn't want to take actions, and so a lot of the times it ended up being like a lot of people looking to each other kind of being like, what do we do, what do we do? And then like that's when you're like, I didn't really build like the charisma based character, but it's just like maybe I adapt this person so they're a little more bluster. One time I thought I like made myself the sidekick of one of my friends, and she was just like a wino. Like I was just gonna
Great,
have
I
her
love that.
be like a reactive like wino, just like drunk mom, just like whatever.
Oh yeah, you're Bard, right?
Yeah, yeah. And I was like, I don't. Who cares? Whatever. But then I kind of slightly adjusted her to making her more of like a blustering wino, so she would stumble into situations and incite incidents,
And
essentially.
advance the story progression.
Yeah, so like she just walks up to it and like, oops, I just dropped it.
Yeah.
And
we're
my
here
bad.
now.
But just to kind of like progress certain actions along while like, you know, letting some people still kind of like be the main things to do.
Yeah.
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 Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, indeed.
Hey, yeah.
Yeah.
And then, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Gets more vocal fry. Yeah. Okay, I think that'll do it for this episode of The Gift of the Gab. Thank you so much for joining us. Say farewell.
Ta-ta for now.
Ta-ta.